Into order. We will pick up on our regular agenda, and the next item is 2023-358. Administrator?
Resolution 2023-358 is the consideration of a request by the City of Kearney for financial assistance on a change order for the 144th Street and Nation Road Roundabout project. And Mayor Pogue is here to talk to the Commission about this request.
Okay, Mr. Mayor, if you'd like to come forward, please make sure that the mic is on.
Good evening, Commission. Thank you for the opportunity to be here this evening to talk about this change order request. So on August 7th, 2023, I presented an ordinance to my board that passed unanimously for an emergency change order in the amount of $37,045 related to our 19th Street and Nation Road Roundabout project that just completed a few weeks ago. The change order was necessary to ensure that some of your Clay County residents living between Northeast 140th Street and Northeast 144th Street were able to have access to and from their homes due to roadway failure of Clay County Road at Northeast 136th Street. The Board of Aldermen then, at my direction, asked staff to request Clay County asking that the county share in cost of the change order since it was required due to the failure of your road. I would like to respectfully request on behalf of the Board of Aldermen that Clay County share 50% of the change order, which would be $18,522.50. That would not have been necessary if your road was not in, if it wasn't failed. Furthermore, I'd like to also share March 2022, we put this final plan design completed for bid and specs. July 2022, contract documents were completed for bid. We published for bid in August of 22, and we opened that following September 2022. There was, I don't believe, any communication to the City of Kearney regarding the failure of the road. I was able to find, doing some research, a Facebook post from the Clay County government on June 9th, 2022, acknowledging a long-term closure, but that was obviously after we started our design and process. So I know it's not large dollars, and I know that we're all already have budgets and things approved, but I, in good faith, as a good neighbor, went to my board and requested an emergency change order within days of finding out that some of your county residents would not have access to their home due to the road south of them being washed out. So I'm hoping that the commission will consider my request back from August and reimburse the city of Kearney for a portion of that. And I'm happy to answer any questions or have staff forward any documents that you may need.
Commissioner Withington.
Thank you, Mayor Pogue, for coming tonight. I don't want to stop anybody, but I think that from talking, but I think Kearney did us a really good favor by being a good neighbor and passing this emergency change ordinance. So I want to make a motion that we go ahead and approve Resolution 2023-358. They were a good neighbor. It's our turn. It's our turn to be a good partner too with the city of Kearney. They helped us with our road, so now I'd like us to approve our half of the funding.
Motion has been made for the approval of 2023-358. And no, don't worry, you are not going to stop any discussion because then discussion ensues afterwards. So generally, we like to provide two options for commissioners to express opinions, so that is not a problem. Is there any discussion on this issue? Commissioner Wagner.
Thank you, and welcome, Mayor. Good to see you. So just a couple quick things. First, I guess, I just want to make sure that, number one, this is unique because in the sense of if we say yes, does that mean others come forward to the county asking for assistance in their project? So my question is kind of to get to the uniqueness of the request. And as I understand it, then the failure of our street was prior to the construction of the work that the City of Kearney was doing. So there's no connection between your work and the failure, is that?
Yeah, that's accurate. So the only notice that I could find that on June 9th, 2022, on the Clay County, Missouri Government Facebook page, there was a post put out by, I would presume, one of your staffers, talking about a long-term closure of that road. Like I said, we put this to bid in March of 2022. Contract was July, so it was not failed during our original process. It had failed after that, but still prior to
Actual construction.
actual construction. That's
Gotcha,
accurate.
gotcha, thank you. And then for staff, just to make sure what I see on our sheet, maybe to don't talk a little bit more about it. So Administrator, I'll ask you, and then you can defer however you wish to. As far as what I see here is the potential source to make the county whole is the Nation Road project budget. So, my part of the county has no county roads, and so I get to ask these questions from time to time to help me understand what we do. Can you explain a little bit more about where we would take funds from to pay the county, and what is the ramification of that for any of our projects?
Sure, absolutely. So the Nation Road, when it had its failure. So that is an ARPA project in which we came to the commission at that point in time. And actually, that's a pretty substantial project to put the road back. We have awarded the design contract, and the design is finishing up. And so what we have in the project right now is the engineer's estimate for construction. So my recommendation to the commission is, because we're like the city and everybody else, we don't budget for miscellaneous, so
Right.
we don't have that in the operating budget. So my recommendation is whatever amount the commission would want to do, it would come from our construction project that we have not officially quoted yet. We'll be back to the commission probably January with a construction contract, and where we'll actually have the final numbers from the contractor versus just what we have with the engineer's estimate. So we hope that the construction contract will come in less than the engineer's estimate. And certainly we always in our projects put a contingency. Right? So it may be, even though our construction project, is there, it will include a contingency. And so this would come from that contingency. And as we get through the project, if we have a shortfall, then I'll be looking at other locations to make up the shortfall for the project.
Understood, which actually leads to a final question for you, Mayor. As far as this project was concerned, I would assume with your project there was some contingency wrapped up in that. I'm just kind of interested to know if, in order to solve the problem, did you have to, I'm going to assume you probably had to eat into contingency, but probably more specifically, I'm interested, did that cause the project to go over budget? And then was that part of the reason then why you had your emergency meeting, or was that just a scope issue at that point?
So it was not an emergency meeting, it was an emergency change order.
Yeah, I'm sorry, yes, thank you.
No, it was covered by our contingency budget, and it did not make the project, we did not allow it to stall the project.
Got it. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Further questions or comments? Seeing none, is there anyone else wishing to speak on this issue? Seeing none, Commissioner Withington, you made the motion, so you may close.
I close.
Please call the roll.
Commissioner Withington?
Yes.
Commissioner Lawson?
Yes.
Commissioner Wagner?
Aye.
Commissioner Carpenter?
Yes.
Commissioner Thompson?
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson?
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0.
That would be helpful. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. That brings us to the next issue, and that is 2023-357.
Resolution 2023-357 is consideration of invoice payments for the Clay County Prosecutor's Office from November 10th through November 29th. There are 16 invoices totaling $26,439.18.
Commissioner Wagner.
Thank you. Move to approve 2023-357.
Motion is made for the approval of 2023-357. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, you are recognized to close.
I close.
Please call the roll.
Commissioner Wagner.
Aye.
Commissioner Lawson.
Yes.
Commissioner Carpenter.
Yes.
Commissioner Thompson.
I recuse myself.
Commissioner Johnson.
Yes.
Commissioner Withington.
Yes.
Motion passes 5 in favor, 1 recusal.
That brings us to 2023-363. Administrator.
Resolution 2023-363 is approving the 2023 financial statements audit engagement letter with the external audit firm of Hood and Associates, and Auditor Herbert is here to provide information to the commission.
Please proceed.
Yes, Victor Hurlbert, Clay County Auditor. Resolution 2023-363 is the approval of the annual engagement letter for our outside audit of our financial statements. It's with the firm Hood and Associates. So this is their 5th year doing audits for it. It's their 4th renewal. It's their last renewal on the original RFP bid. So after this year, the audit of the 2023 financial statements, it would be the best practice to go back out to bid. They have done a lot of work for us. However, if you recall, their predecessors failed to complete the 2018 audit, and so they actually did 2 audits in 1 year, in their first year. And so they've been good to work with. The engagement letter outlines essentially the scope of their work, essentially to audit the financial statements that the county prepares, and also to do a single audit, and that's required under federal guidelines called the Single Audit Act over our schedule of expenditures of federal awards for our federal grants. That's required for any entity that receives over $750,000 a year in federal grants, which we do. So essentially, we're just seeking approval for the engagement of that audit, and you have the price of the bid, and I am happy to answer any questions on that.
Are there any questions of the auditor? Seeing none, Commissioner Wagner.
Thank you. Move to approve 2023-363.
Motion has been made for the approval of 2023-363. Further discussion? Seeing none, you are recognized to close.
I close.
Please call the roll.
Commissioner Wagner.
Aye.
Commissioner Lawson.
Yes.
Commissioner Carpenter. Commissioner Thompson.
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson.
Yes.
Commissioner Withington.
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0.
Next on our agenda is 2023-361. Administrator.
Resolution 2023-361 is approving a capital project encumbrance request and Decker construction proposal for ARPA Stormwater Infrastructure Project with Riverbend Estates Stormwater Structure with Decker Construction Services for Highway Department. And Highway Administrator Terry Griffin is here to provide information on the project.
Please proceed.
Good evening, Terry Griffin, Highway Administrator. This is an ARPA stormwater project. It deals on the branch of Fishing River in the subdivision named Riverbend Estates. This is a subdivision that is off Highway 33 south of Kearney. Riverbend is a subdivision that was built in the 1970s, and there we go. The development from upstream has changed the stormwater requirements in that neighborhood, and we have several locations that sometimes overtop in heavy rains. And we ask, as part of this project, we ask Alfred Benish and Company, one of our on-call engineering firms, to assess the condition and the adequacy of the stormwater structures that are in that neighborhood. They completed the initial analysis and have recommended the replacement, or not the replacement, but rather the repair of 4 box culverts. Benish has worked really closely with our on-call contractor, Decker Construction, and they worked together to provide some value-added, which translates to cost savings, solutions for these 4 locations. You can see the 4 locations they're not as clear as I'd hoped. They're little green boxes on the map that's up there now. There may be some other structures that we deal with later, but for right now, there are 4 that we're concerned with. The first one is this culvert. It shows severe erosion on the outlet side of the box. You can see that the water is running down the apron. It looks like a little mini waterfall there. The water has eroded back in under that concrete apron for at least a foot in every completely across it. So Decker Construction has proposed constructing a new toe wall, which is like a concrete barrier wall that will prevent water from getting back in underneath that outlet side. They will also install some riprap or large rocks in the stream to slow the water and prevent future erosion. There is a damaged guardrail on the west side of the road, which you can't see in the photo, as well as that will be replaced. And there is also debris. You can see that on the right, the photo on the right side that is in the inlet side of the box, and they will be replacing that as well. The total cost for this location is $46,533, and the project can be completed in about 2 weeks. The second location is similar. It shows severe erosion and damage on the downstream end. In this case, the apron is the slanted spillway that is there. It should be flat and level with the stream bed. You can see over the years, the water has eroded and caused a sinkhole, if you will, right in front of there. And the erosion is so bad underneath this apron that the whole apron has collapsed and now forms a spillway, which speeds up the water as it comes through the culvert and causes that much more damage downstream. Decker Construction on this one will install a stilling basin, which is a structure that will slow the water down as it comes out of the culvert so that it does not erode the floor of the stream bed so much. They will also replace the wing walls. They'll repair and seal cracks on the interior, which you can see in the right side, in the picture on the right hull. The scour hole at the bottom of the apron will be filled, and they will also do some work on the upstream side of the culvert to continue helping with all of the damage that's occurring at this point. This project will cost $67,662 and will be completed in about 3 weeks. And I would also note that on the RCA, there's a typo for the value, the price on this contract. We had $622. The actual price should have said $67,662, but the overall total for the project was correct on the RCA. The third location has severe erosion downstream. Again, on the picture on the left, you can see the apron, the ledge of the apron. The stream bed should be level with the top of that apron rather than the 2 or 3 feet below that you can see where it is now. Again, Decker Construction will repair the apron. We'll install a stilling basin to slow the water, new wing walls, and a new floor wall, or new floor. They'll put a toe wall on the upstream, again, to help with the, to slow the water and to stop erosion. This project can be completed in 3 weeks and will cost $62,768. The last project is to replace the downstream wing wall on this culvert. It will be replaced with a cast-in-place wing wall, and they will dowel it or use metal rods to attach it to the existing culvert. This structure will be completed in 1 week and will cost $9,891. All of these projects can be completed without closing the roads in the subdivision, which will cause minimal disruption to the residents during this time. Our original cost, whenever we talked to Benish about this, they had originally estimated the cost for engineering at just over $170,000, and that was the contract that the commission approved several months ago for this project. Because we are not replacing structures, we are only repairing them, the cost of inspection for the construction part of this project will go down. So the revised cost will include the $95,000 that we've already paid, plus approximately $35,000, bringing the total cost down from $170,000 to just over $130,000. Decker Construction, the estimate that, or the contract that we're asking you to approve today is for $186,854, bringing the total estimated cost of the project to $317,292. Our original estimates, which we presented when the project was authorized, was $258,580, which put this project about $58,700 over our original estimates. With that in mind, I look back at the projects that have been completed or that are fully under contract to date on the ARPA stormwater projects. We've completed 2 projects to date. Those 2 projects are just almost $6,600 under our original estimates. We have 3 projects that are fully under contract but which have not yet been completed. Those 3 projects combined are under $473,000 under our original estimates, which brings us to $480,000 under our estimates on these 5 projects that are included. When we take the $58,700 that Riverbend is over the estimates, we still, overall on these 5 and now 6 projects with Riverbend, will still be at about $421 or $21,000 under our original estimates. So we feel like we're still pretty good on the overall cost of the ARPA stormwater projects. And if you have any questions, I would be glad to answer any questions you might have.
Any questions? Commissioner Wagner.
Thank you, and Terry, thanks very much for the presentation. Well done, as always. I just wanted to take a comment that you made towards the beginning, just to make sure I heard it correctly. So we are having to do the work primarily because of development that has occurred since this original subdivision was built, and the stormwater off of those newer subdivisions is what's driving the damage here that we're having to deal with today.
Yes, this subdivision was installed in the 1970s, and you can imagine how much development there's been throughout the county since that time.
Right.
So with every development, that changes the stormwater, and the developers do not always consider how far downstream their developments are going to affect.
Right, and which I suspected that's what you were going to say, and I guess my point in asking, and there's certainly no answer that needs to be done today, but I'll just throw it out there that knowing that there is no contribution to fixing this issue from those who developed afterwards, yet clearly it is what's driving the cost here, or the need to do here. I just, you know, in the Kansas City, they do a number of impact fees, knowing that development today leads to issues down the road, and there's a pot of money that's developed to help deal with that. Clearly there's not one here, or else we would use it for this case, but I would just throw out there to both my fellow commissioners and to staff that to the extent that we forecast other sorts of issues like these coming up in the future, it would certainly, in my opinion, entertain a discussion on that. And I got Kip up, but he didn't go to the microphone. Interesting. I'll leave that for another time then. Well, I got halfway there, but didn't quite get all the way. But I'll just make that observation and leave it at that. And I appreciate again your presentation. Thank you.
So if I could address that a little bit.
Absolutely.
There's a couple ways to deal with that. One is an impact fee. The other one is definitely taking a look at our development codes and ensuring that new development is responsible for maintaining the runoff because of their development and the impact downstream. And so those are things that we're all looking at as we go through our comp plan and land use and land code and technical specifications and all of that. The other challenge a little bit with this one, and Terry, correct me if I'm wrong, but the development that she's referring to is not in unincorporated area, but in one of our neighboring corporations, incorporated.
It's still in unincorporated county.
This
Oh, the
is,
develop- yes,
but I'm talking about the
yes,
development.
a lot of
So
development is
we
in the
need to
city of
work with our
Kearney.
partners because as
That's true.
municipalities allow development to happen in their corporate boundaries, we
Right.
need to make sure that they are taking a look at what is the stormwater coming off that property into the unincorporated area and having an impact.
No, absolutely, and I appreciate that point. Because clearly, you know, we are fortunate to have ARPA funds in this case to deal with this particular issue. That goes away fairly soon. And so having some discussion on how we might deal with this for the future, although I've never met a developer who liked anything like impact fees or having obligations beyond that. If there is one out there, I'd love to meet them. But nevertheless, that's a cost that then gets borne by the county, and it seems like there should be some thinking to it. But again, thank you very much, and I appreciate the answer. Thank you.
Further discussion or questions? Seeing none, Commissioner Wagner.
Yes, move to approve 2023-361.
Motion has been made for the approval of 2023-361. Further discussion? Seeing none, you are recognized to close.
I close.
Please call the roll.
Commissioner Wagner.
Aye.
Commissioner Lawson.
Yes.
Commissioner Carpenter.
Yes.
Commissioner Thompson.
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson.
Yes.
Commissioner Withington.
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0.
Excuse me. Next on our agenda is 2023-360. Administrator?
Resolution 2023-360 is the transfer within the fund in the amount of $25,390 for furnace and ductwork replacement at the Parks Office in the Park Fund, and Deputy Director Davis is here to provide information.
Please proceed.
John Davis, Deputy Director, Parks. Transfer with a fund request for furnace and ductwork repair. First week of November, we had a raccoon gain access to the attic of the park office and entered the vent system, and just save you the gory details, totaled out the furnace and the ductwork. So this is request to pay for that project. No.
Okay. Are there any questions or comments? Commissioner Wagner.
Yes, move to approve 2023-360.
Motion been made for the approval of 2023-360. Further discussion? Seeing none, you're recognized to close.
I close.
Please call the roll.
Aye.
Yes.
Yes.
Commissioner Thompson.
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson.
Yes.
Commissioner Withington.
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0.
Final item on this evening's regular agenda is 2023-365. Administrator?
Resolution 2023-365 is approving the sale of disposable of surplus auction items as stipulated per Article 7 of Chapter 37, Surplus Auction of the County Code of Ordinances. And Melanie Watt from Facilities is here to explain this process to the Commission.
Please proceed.
Good evening, Commissioners. Melanie Watt, Building Services Manager. I'm here this evening to request your approval for the disposal of and auction of items that have come into our surplus program. We have several vehicles that have come in from the Sheriff's Department and a couple of other departments that have been deemed not really usable for other departments. And we have several miscellaneous electronic items that we will be sending out for electronic recycling.
Any questions or comments? Commissioner Wagner.
Thank you. Move to approve 2023-365.
Motion's been made for the approval of, there it is, 2023-365. Any discussion? Seeing none, you are recognized to close.
I close.
Please call the roll.
Commissioner Wagner.
Aye.
Commissioner Lawson.
Yes.
Commissioner Carpenter.
Yes.
Commissioner Thompson.
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson.
Yes.
Commissioner Withington.
Yep.
Motion passes 6-0.
Thank you. That brings us to reports. Administrator?
There's one report included in your packet for the Commission's information, and that is the Friends of the Clay County CASA Incorporated Financial Statement Audit for November, dated November 2023.
Okay, very good. Next item is County Administrator comments. Administrator?
Just a couple of items. As the Commission is aware, the Comprehensive Plan Update Project has been ongoing for a couple of months, and we're certainly right now very much kicking up our public engagement process. And so we want to encourage everyone to go out to the website and complete a survey for us. And I believe there is a slide that our team in the back is going to put up for individuals to go to that website, but it is www.claycountycompass.com, which is a designated website for the comp plan. There's a lot of information out there, but very easily on the front page of the website is a link to take out the survey. Also want to announce that we have some public open houses that are scheduled for next week for the comp plan, encouraging the public to come in attendance. The first one, Wednesday, December the 6th, from 5:30 to 7:30, and that will be at the Excelsior Springs Community Center. The second public engagement is also next week. It is next Thursday, December the 7th, from 5:30 to 7:30, and that will be at the Gladstone Community Center. So we encourage all our residents to come and participate. Earlier this week, we had 2 days of work on the comp plan with our stakeholder group. We had a great turnout of probably about 40 residents that participated with our consultants. So, but we certainly want to get as much participation as we can. The next item has to do with the commission's next meeting, which would be the next, but there we go on the website, is the location for residents to go with our Clay County Compass 2040 on the comp plan. And then next meeting is next Wednesday for the next budget workshop. We're going to ask if it's permissible with the commission, instead of starting at 9:30, that we push that back to 10 o'clock. We have a couple things that might be in a conflict, and so if the commission would indulge us on that and not be here at 9:30, but be here at 10 o'clock, that would be great. This coming Wednesday, the 6th, yes. And we promise to get you out about the same time, 1 or 1:30. We think that it won't extend the meeting. And then the commission's next regular scheduled business meeting is next Thursday, December the 7th at 6 o'clock here in the chambers.
Thank you. Commissioner Coleman, Commissioner Carpenter, do you have any comments you'd care to make? Commissioner Thompson? Commissioner Johnson, no. Commissioner Withington, Commissioner Lawson, Commissioner Wagner. All right, well, I will be the outlier here. I've attended a couple of meetings in the 2 weeks since we had our last meeting. I just want to hit those real fast, and then if any commissioners have any questions, certainly be happy to address those at a later time. On the 17th, there was a preliminary meeting of the regional, a committee to look into a regional jail that was called by another entity. I attended along with the sheriff and other members of our staff. Also in attendance was Buchanan County, Clinton County, Platte County, and the city of KCMO. On the 21st, there was a TTPC meeting. There were some numbers that were attached to that. Also, I wanted to make sure that commissioners got the presentation that was given by Mark's staff, so they would have all the information that came to me. On the 22nd, there was a Clay County Executive EDC meeting. What was done at that meeting was selection of Keystone Award winners for the December 14 luncheon at Harrah's. So those, if anybody would like a copy of those winners, certainly be happy to provide that. On the 27th, the Missouri Treasurer was here, and he talked about Mo Buck's program. So it was always good to have a statewide official in the chamber and addressing the people who were here. And then finally, there was a Mark Board meeting on the 28th. One of the main items presented was a draft of the 2024 budget that is, and it should be, there's a link that's been sent to the commission. Okay, so if the commission has any questions or comments, the meeting that will be next meeting will be next month. I can't remember the date, but it's in December. It's like the 26th, the day after Christmas. So certainly if any questions or comments, I'd certainly be interested in hearing from commissioners on that. And that pretty much takes care of what was going on in that particular issue. So that brings us to executive sessions. Is there a motion related to the executive session that was noticed on our agenda? Commissioner Wagner.
Thank you. Move to approve to go into executive session pursuant to RSMO 610.021 sub 12, dealing with contractual matters and adjourning therefrom.
Motion has been made for the to go into executive session under contractual, that is Missouri Statute 610.021 parentheses 12, and to adjourn therefrom. Discussion? Seeing none, you are recognized to close.
I close.
Please call the roll.
Commissioner Wagner.
Aye.
Commissioner Lawson.
Yes.
Commissioner Carpenter. Commissioner Thompson. Commissioner Johnson?
Yes.
Commissioner Withington?
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0.
Thank you. We will go into executive session and adjourn therefrom.